The Baylor men's and women's basketball programs will face no further sanctions after the NCAA Committee on Infractions accepted the school's self-imposed penalties, ending a 3-year investigation that involved more than 1,200 impermissible phone calls and text messages.
The golden era of Baylor athletics certainly continued tonight. The Baylor Lady Bears are the 8th women's team to ever go undefeated and win a national title. It's their 2nd title in program history.
He's pretty pleased with the outcome.
You would have to think so at this point. Those violations were deemed as major infractions against Baylor, but since they worked so well with the NCAA during this investigation, they thought at this point that there were no further sanctions needed. Baylor was able to score 52 points in the paint against Notre Dame. I expect to see more of the same tonight between Brittany Griner and Destiny Williams. Baylor on the perimeter, defensively at least, guard-wise, they should be able to hold up Skylar Diggins, and I think they're going to bring home the national championship, the 2nd since 2005. Earlier today, Baylor and Florida, they met with the media. They also held practices behind closed doors. Lady Bears are now just 5 wins away from that ultimate goal of winning the national championship. Now, ever since last year's Elite 8 loss to Texas A&M, this Baylor team has been on a mission. The motto this year is unfinished business. And you heard him today speak in that press conference. He loves Baylor University. He loves the coaches that helped him get to be the student athlete that he is today. It was a very difficult decision for him, but RG3 did make that decision to move on, and he will go down in history, at least in Baylor history, as one of the greatest ever to wear the green and gold. It's a great chance for A&M to get that 10th win and try and take that step to get back into the national picture. Before the season started, Midway and Stephenville, they were picked to battle for the District 8 4A title, and after 8 weeks, that's exactly where we stand. Both the Panthers and Yellow Jackets are 3-0 in the 2nd season. Here, Robert Griffin III Mania has made its way down I-35 as the Bears try and win their first bowl game since 1992. But make no mistake about it, both head coaches know the key to Thursday night's game will be RG3.
I think it generates some obvious national excitement to the game.
Of course, attention is something Robert Griffin III has become accustomed to since winning the 77th Heisman Trophy.
It's been crazy. Obviously, whenever you do great things, people are going to want to talk to you. So you just have to take it, look at it that way, and it's bringing a lot of attention to Baylor.
Robert's Robert. He's not going to let outside influences deter his determination, his effort, and his discipline. And you know, that's why he's who he is, and that's why he's what he is. And during all the Heisman hoopla, Griffin stayed true to himself, working out while on the road in Florida and New York. RG3 hoping to avoid a post-Heisman letdown that has seen 7 of the last 11 trophy winners go on to lose their bowl games.
Obviously, that's going to pop into your head. You know, these guys really didn't play that well, but those guys aren't you, and I'm not them. So that's the way I look at it, and I know I'm going to be me out there to help my team win.
And even though Steve Sarkisian is coaching against RG3, he's certainly become a fan.
The accuracy down the field, I think, was what first got me going, wow, this kid's special. And then obviously the playmaking ability, his understanding of their scheme, his ability to keep the tempo and the up-tempo speed that they play at, and then to throw in the fact that the guy can run. I mean, he's just one of the best players I've seen, and I've been around some pretty good ones.
Yeah, certainly some high praises from Coach Sarkisian, who was an assistant at USC when Carson Palmer and Reggie Bush both won the Heisman. Reporting live from the Alamo Dome in San Antonio, Tyler Hedrick, KCEN HD Sports.
You got to expect everybody to have their best. Just to have a game of this magnitude, it makes it even more exciting.
I don't think it's going to be an easy win for us.
They are hungry to go back there.
Whoever gets there has earned it. Whoever doesn't get there, you had your chance.
2 of the top teams in the nation, and it's unfortunate that we have to play one another.
Baylor's in our way right now. We're in Baylor's way.
I just hate it because both teams are good enough to be in the Final Four.
But only one would be heading to Indianapolis. Baylor, Texas A&M Elite 8 Dallas Region Final, by far the biggest battle of the Brazos we have ever seen. You hear Griffin speak today, and he talked a lot about life and what if. And what if you think about back to when Art Briles was at Houston, and he was one of the few coaches out there that was recruiting RG3 as a quarterback. Guy Morris, who was at Baylor at the time, even, Mac Brown, they wanted him more as an athlete, maybe a defensive back or a receiver. You look at Prairie View A&M during the regular season, they played 6 teams that are in the field of 64, and that includes Iowa State and Oklahoma from the Big 12. But with that said, of course, they went 1-5 in those games. But again, make no mistake about it, tonight it's all about the Lady Bears. Baylor has won 8 straight games in the first round of the NCAA tournament.